First of all, I want to welcome you all here this evening again. We were here in a bigger room on the 16th of September last year on a fundraiser for LTV. We are back again tonight on another fundraiser for LTV. I know you'll have a good night. Enjoy it, lads. And I'll say more about LTV towards the end of the night. I hope this old mic goes all right, because I was a young fella. We were below at Mass one Sunday morning. And I remember that Mike was new in the church in Macroom, and the priest was tempering it. And he came to the part of the Mass where he'd say, "The Lord be with you," and the people would answer back, "And also with you." But instead of saying, "The Lord be with you," he said, "There's something wrong with this old Mike," and they all answered back, "And also with you." Well, now, the first man up tonight is a man that's well known through local radio, reading out prices at the mart and things like that. And I welcome you all the way from Michigila here tonight, Mr. Tim McSweeney. I'll put him on first because he's in a bit of a hurry for another engagement. So, Tim, take it away.
Thank you very much, Maurice. I'll just do a bit of a monologue for a start. Is the sick note. It might be a share of the reason that I mightn't be at work tomorrow. We'll say, "Dear sir, I write this note to you to tell you of me plight. And at the time of writing it, I'm not a pretty sight. My body is all black and blue, my face a deathly grey. And I write this note to say why Paddy's not at work today. While working on the 14th floor, some bricks I had to clear. Now to throw them down from such a height was not a good idea. The foreman wasn't very pleased, he being an awkward sod. He said I'd have to cut them down, the ladders in my hod. Now cutting all these bricks by hand, it was so very slow. So I hoisted up a barrel and secured the rope below. But in my haste to do the job, I was too blind to see that a barrel full of building bricks was heavier than me. So then when I untied the rope, the barrel fell like lead. And clinging tightly to that rope, I started up instead. Well, I shot up like a rocket till to my dismay I found that halfway up I met the bloody barrel coming down. Now the barrel broke my shoulder as to the ground it sped. And when I reached the top I banged the pulley with me head. And I clung on tight on them with shock from this almighty blow. And the barrel spilled out half the bricks 14 floors below. Now when these bricks had fallen from the barrel to the floor, I then outweighed the barrel and so started down once more. And clinging tightly to the rope, I sped towards the ground, and I landed on the broken bricks that were all scattered round. As I lay there moaning on the ground, I thought I'd passed the worst. But the barrel hit the pulley wheel and then the bottom burst. Well, a shower of bricks came down on me, I hadn't got a hope. As I lay there moaning on the ground, I let go the goddamn rope. The barrel then being heavier, it started down once more, and it landed straight across me as I laid upon the floor. Well, it broke 3 ribs in my left arm, and I can only say that I hope you'll understand why Paddy's not at work today. In a bar in Toledo, across from the depot, on a bar stool, she took off her ring. I thought I'd get closer, so I moved on over. I sat down and asked her name. When the drinks finally hit her, she said, "I'm no quitter, but I finally quit living on dreams. I'm hungry for laughter, and here ever after, I'm after whatever the other laughed things. In the mirror I see him, and I closely watched him. I thought out he looked out of place. He came to the woman and sat there beside me. He had a strange look on his face. The big hand was callous, he looked like a mountain. For a minute I thought I was dead. Then he started shaking, the big heart was breaking when he turned to the woman and said, "You picked a fine time to leave me, Lucille. 4 hungry children and the crop on the field. I've had some bad times, I lived through some sad times, but this time your hurtin' won't heal. You picked a fine time to leave me, Lucille." After he left us, I ordered more whiskey. I thought how she made him look small. From the dim-lighted ballroom to a rented hotel room, we walked without talking at all. But she was a beauty, and when she came to me, she must have thought I'd lost my mind. For I couldn't hold her, for the words that he told her kept coming back time after time. You picked a fine time to leave me, Lucy. 4 hungry children and the crop on the field. I've had some bad times, I lived through some sad times, but this time you're hurting won't heal. You picked a fine time to leave me, Lucy. You picked a fine time to leave me, Lucy. 4 hungry children and the crop on the field. I've had some bad times, I lived through some sad times, but this time the hurting won't heal. You picked the fine time to leave me, Lucy. You picked the fine time to leave me, Lucy. Thank you, Maurice.
That was excellent, Tim. I wonder, can we even go with that? Tim, do you want to do another one? That was absolutely brilliant. You see. While Tim is thinking about it, I forgot to introduce you to our Kilfenori KD bandits here tonight at enormous expense. First of all, we have John Buckley, Paddy O'Donovan, Dermot O'Leary, Donald McCarthy, and of course John Lyons. Lads, you're brilliant. Thanks very much indeed. And we'll hear more from you later on there. Play away all you want, all you like, play away.
I better stick with my occupation, I suppose, and I'll sing The Poor, Poor Farmer. I came from the city many months ago. I sold most everything and it gave me quite a shake, you know. I bought myself a section of the finest farming land, but how they make a fortune, sure I cannot understand. Well, I bought new machinery, the very best of seeds, always buying some new parts, and half of me crops is weeds. The weasel took me chicken then, while parsnips killed me cow. The wife went home to mother and she took me so. I'm a poor, poor farmer, oh, what am I gonna do? A poor, poor farmer full of rabbit stew. A poor, poor farmer always on the go, praying to get me farm work caught up before the snow. The rabbits eat me garden, the hare took all me wheat. It seemed like working round the clock, but really getting beat. Grasshoppers came the other day, just like a million goats. Before I knew what to do, should I cut down all the oats? Well, I loaded up with grass seeds and started off for town. It seemed like every mile I went, the price kept going down. The most of it was baggage, from wild oats to flax. And when I came to settle with them, sure I owed them for the sacks. I'm a poor, poor farmer, oh, what am I gonna do? A poor, poor farmer full of rabbit stew. A poor, poor farmer always on the go, praying to get me farm work caught up before the snow. Well, I looked out this morning, feeling mighty low. I grazed upon the parade of crop fall covered up with snow. First me wheat and then me oats, and now me spouts are gone. The grub box is empty, and how will I carry on now? But still I have my freedom, my credit is great and high. Don't have to pack no lunchbox or hear that whistle cry. I'll always be a farmer, I don't care about a thing. And if I can get the Ferguson fixed, I'll be back in the spring. I'm a poor, poor farmer, what am I gonna do? A poor, poor farmer, full of rabbit stew. A poor, poor farmer, always on the go. Praying to get me farm work caught up before the snow. And that's the way a poor, poor farmer's life must go.
Good man, Tim. Brilliant altogether. If I were you, Tim, I'd give up that old day job on the radio and go away singing full time because you were absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
No, ladies and gentlemen, the next man should be in Rathmore tonight playing bingo. He's gone there all his life. But when he heard LTV were coming to the Castle Hotel, he said, I'd have to come tonight and support our LTV. And that's the great man himself, Dick Deneen. Dick? Will you be all right there, Dick? Take your time, Dick. Come on. Tis on, Dick.
All right. Have you ever been in love, me boys, or have you felt that pain? Sure, I'd rather be in jail myself than be in love again. The girl I loved was beautiful. I want you all to know that I met her in the garden where the praties grow. For she was just the sort of creature, boys, that nature did intend. For to walk right through the world, me boys, without that Grecian bend. She never wore a chignon, and I want you all to know that I met her in the garden where the praties grow. She was singing an old Irish song called Gra Gal Macree. Ah, what a wife she'd make for an Irish boy like me. I had an important business, but did not like to go and leave her in the garden where the praties grow. For she was just the sort of creature, boys, that nature did intend. For to walk right through the world, me boys, without that Grecian bend. She never wore a chignon, and I want you all to know that I met her in the garden where the praties grow. Well, says I, my pretty Kathleen, I'm tired of single life. If you have no objection, I'll make of you me wife. She answered me so modestly and curious very low, saying you're welcome to the garden where the praties grow. For she was just the sort of creature, boys, that nature did intend. For to walk right through the world, me boys, without the Grecian bend. She never wore a chignon, and I want you all to know that I met her in the garden where the praties grow. So it's now that we are married and we're blessed with children three. Two girlings like their mama and abide the image of me. We'll rear them up together the way they ought to go, and we'll never forget the garden where the praties grow. For she was just the sort of creature, boys, that nature did intend. For to walk right through the world, me boys, without the Grecian bend. She never wore a chignon, and I want you all to know that I met her in the garden where the praties grow. And I met her in the garden where the praties grow. My feet are here in Broadway, this blessed harvest morn, but oh, the ache that's in them for the place where I was born. My weary hands are blistered from working cold and heat, but oh, to swing a sight today in a field of Irish wheat. Had I my chance to wander back our own a king's abode, it's soon I'd see the hawthorn tree down the old bog road. When I was young and restless, my mind was ill at ease, through dreaming of America and the gold beyond the seas. Oh, sorrow, take their money, it's hard to find the same. But what's the world to any man if no one speaks his name? I've had my day, and here I am, building a bricks per load, along 3,000 miles away from the old bog road. My mother died last springtime when Ireland's fields were green. The neighbours said her waking was the finest ever seen. Sure, the dewdrops and primroses piled high above her bed, and fair church was crowded when her funeral mass was read. But here was I in a Broadway, a building bricks per load, when they carried out her coffin down the old bog road. There was a decent girl at home who used to walk with me. Her eyes were soft and sorrowful, like moonbeams on the sea. Her name was Mary O'Dwyer, but that was long ago. Sure, the ways of God are wiser than things that men might know. She died the year I left her, of a broken heart I'm told, and the neighbours took her coffin down the old bog road. Our life's a weary puzzle, past finding out by man. I'll take the day for what it's worth, I'll do the best I can. Since no one cared or rush for me, what need is there to moan? I'll go my way, I'll draw my pay, and I'll smoke my pipe alone. Each human heart must have its fling, though beat or be that load. So God be with you, Ireland, and the old bog road. So God be with you, Ireland, and the old bog road.
We'll get another song from in a minute. Next up now is a wonderful lady here tonight, all the way from Clonagilty. Maurice O'Connell, now we'll call on to sing a song. Maurice. Sorry, Maurice.
Okay, Maurice, thank you.
Take your time.
When I was young and I was in my day, sure I'd steal what woman's heart would come my way. And I'd sing unto the morning, so ablaze unto the dawning, long before I was the man you see today. I was born beneath the star that promised all. I could live my life without Cassandra's call. But the wheel of fortune took me from the highest point, she shook me. By the bottle I should fall. There in the mirror on the wall, I see the dream is fading from the contender to the brawl. The ring, the rose, the matador raving. But when I die, I'll die a drunk down on the street. He will count me out to 10 and clear defeat. Wrap the starry plough around me, let the piper's air surround me. There I rest before the Lord of love I meet. There in the mirror on the wall, I see the dream is fading from the contender to the brawl. The ring, the rose, the matador raving. But when I die, I'll die drunk down on the street. He will count me out to 10 and clear defeat. Wrap the starry plough around me, let the piper's air surround me. There I rest before the Lord of love I meet. Thank you. Maurice, you're mad for more punishment. The little boats are gone from the breasts of Anna Liffey, and the ferrymen are stranded on the quay. And the Dublin docks aside, and a way of life is gone, and Molly, it was part of you and me. Where the strawberry beds sweep down to the Liffey, you kiss away the worries from my brow. I love you well today, and I'll love you more tomorrow. If you ever love me, Molly, love me now. 'Twas the only job I knew. It was hard but never lonely. The Liffey ferry made a man of me. And it's gone without a whisper and forgotten even now. And it's over, Molly, over, can't you see? Where the strawberry beds sweep down to the Liffey, you kiss away the worries from my brow. I love you well today, and I'll love you more tomorrow. If you ever love me, Molly, love me now. Now I'll spend my days in talking, and I'll tell my little yarns. I'll hear them whisper Charlie's on the dole. And Molly, we're still living, and darling, we're still young, but that Liffey never owned me heart and soul. Where the strawberry beds sweep down to the Liffey, you kiss away the worries from my brow. I love you well today, and I'll love you more tomorrow. If you ever love me, Molly, love me now. Once more with feeling. Where the strawberry beds sweep down to the Liffey, you kiss away the worries from my brow. I love you well today, and I love you more tomorrow. If you ever love me, Molly, love me now.
Wonderful, Maurice. Thanks very much, Bess. Thanks very much. That's brilliant, Maurice. Thanks very much. I think now, lads, it's time we had a song from the band here. I think Donald McCarthy might like to sing a couple of songs. Donald, will you do the honours, please? You want the mic, Donald? Or just try up down.
A lot of singers, songwriters, they became alcoholics from the environment that they work in. Christy Moore would be one. Shane McGowan is one. But the late great Pecker Dunn, he never made any bones about being an alcoholic. But he wrote this song about the loneliness and depression that goes with being an alcoholic. In this legion of losers, of winos and boozers, at the top of the bottom I stand, doomed and defeated, my hopes all retreated. I'm what's left of what once was a man. In this kingdom of outcast, where pride ranks about last, and ye have on my royal domain. Only God knows, and I know I'm king of the winos, and at the top of the trash heap I reign. In a state of depression is where I am living, a world full of pain and misery, where there's nothing but sadness, sorrow and madness. It's home to a loser like me. In a state of depression is where I am living, a world full of pain and misery, where there's nothing but sadness, sorrow and madness, which is home to a loser like me. Down in the gutter I tremble and shudder, 'cause the bottle can't warm me enough. Oh, of the horror to think about tomorrow, 'cause I dreamt that the grapes all dried out. In a state of depression is where I am living, a world full of pain and misery, where there's nothing but sadness, sorrow and madness, which is home to a loser like me. Right. This song was written by a friend of mine back there at Mons. I'd sing this for Eileen. In my rambles I wandered through woodlands and dales, with pleasure one fine August morning. The trees in great splendour their beauty displayed, bedecked in fine colours most charming, when a sound most alarming erupted quite near. The birds in the bushes departed in fear, and when I approached with my hands in my ears, I found 'twas a man with a chainsaw. I stood for a while in the shade of the trees, and I watched him with great admiration, for he handled that saw with the greatest of ease and the daintiest of manipulation. He first marked the trees that were doomed to be cut. He first cut 'em down, and he then cut 'em up. If there was a big prize, he'd have won the gold cup for dexterous use of a chainsaw. He stopped for a while to refuel his machine in the dense of the great vegetation. It was then I approached him, surveying the scene, and engaged him in deep conversation. Together we sat on a fallen tree trunk. He took out his lunch and devoured a big chunk. This man is what ladies would say was a hunk, and he prided himself in his chainsaw. Now I have a daughter who's idle at home, and my mind did a quick calculation. This brawny young fellow, all muscle and bone, would suit her in my estimation. He said he was single and never engaged, so I wrote down his name, his address and his age, his email address and likewise his web page, and the model and make of the chainsaw. With this information I went back to base and accosted this dame with elation. Now the serious expression that came on her face gave tidings of sheer indignation. She looked at me boldly with fire in her eyes. A woodcutter lowly I'd surely despise. The man that I'll marry will be a big noise. I said there's big noise from a chainsaw. Next day she arrived home with this hairy baboon. He plays with a group called the Quairhawks. Herself and my monkey went up to her room with the greatest guitar that I e'er saw. He started to hum and to sing and to roar. We soon had complaints from the neighbours next door. My ears they were splitting, my head it was sore. Sure I'd rather the sound of a chainsaw. They say love is pleasing, they say love is blind, and they say that it drives women crazy. Sure it drove my own daughter clean out of her mind, and she married this creature so hairy. But soon he absconded clean out of her life. He went back to a partner, a husband or wife. Sure she could have avoided that trouble and strife if she'd married the man with the chainsaw.
Very good, Donald. Thanks very much. Do you know, ladies and gentlemen, you'll be giving €160 a year to RTE for an old television licence. You get no entertainment like that here that you would in RTE. Next up now is a fantastic lady all the way from Killamatra, Mary Harrington.
Last night I dreamed you were back again, larger than life again, holding me tight again, placing those same kisses on my brow, sweeter than ever now. Lord, I remember how, couldn't get enough of kissing. Do you know how much you're missing? No, you don't, but I do, but I do. And I wonder if I passed the point to rescue. Is no word from you at all the best that you can do? Never meant to push or shove you. Do you know how much I love you? No, you don't, but I do. The days like a slow train trickle by. Even the words that I write refuse to fly. All that I can hear is your song haunting me. Can't get the melody out of my head, you see. Distractions I've been using. Do you know how much you're losing? No, you don't, but I do, but I do. And I wonder if I passed the point to rescue. Is no word from you at all the best that you can do? I never meant to push or shove you. Do you know how much I love you? No, you don't, but I do, but I do. And I wonder if I passed the point to rescue. Is no word from you at all the best that you can do? Never meant to push or shove you. Do you know how much I love you? No, you don't, but I do. And last night I dreamed you were back again, larger than life again, holding me tight again, and placing those same kisses on my brow, sweeter than ever now. Lord, I remember how, couldn't get enough of kissing. Do you know how much you're missing? No, you don't, but I do, but I do. And I wonder if I passed the point to rescue. Is no word from you at all the best that you can do? Never meant to push or shove you. Do you know how much I love you? No, you don't, but I do. Oh, no, you don't, but I do. You may travel far, far from your own native home, far away o'er the mountains, far away o'er the foam, and of all the fine places that I've ever seen, there is none to compare on the cliffs of Dooneen. Take a view o'er the mountains, fine sight you'll see there. You see the high rocky mountains on the west coast of Clare, and the towns of Kilkee and Kilrush can be seen from the high rocky slopes round the cliffs of Dooneen. It's a nice place to be on a warm summer's day, watching all the wildflowers that ne'er do decay, and the hare and lofty pheasant is quite plain to be seen from the high rocky slopes round the cliffs of Dooneen. Fare thee well to Dooneen, fare thee well for a while, and to all the fine people I'm leaving behind, and the streams and the leathers where late I have been, from the high rocky slopes round the cliffs of Dooney.
Brilliant, Mary, thanks very much. We'll take a break from the singing now, lads, for a second or two, and we'll go for a couple of recitations to Donal Lynch, all the way from Inchigeela. Donal, very welcome indeed here tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks, Donal.
This poem I found in Australia many years ago. It's called The Man from Snowy Mountain. And about 40 years ago there was a movie made about it. And Kirk Douglas was the main actor. So I hope you like it. There was movement at the station, for the word had passed around that the colt from all regret had got away and had joined the wild bush horses. He was worth £1,000, so all the cracks had gathered to the fray. And all tried and noted riders from stations near and far had mustered at the homestead overnight. For the bushmen love hard riding where the wild bush horses are, and the stock horse snuffs the battle with delight. There was Harrison who made his pile when Pardon won the cup, the old man with his hair as white as snow. But few could ride beside him when his blood was fairly up. He'd go wherever horse and man could go. And Clancy of the Overflow came down to lend a hand. No better horseman ever held the reins. Never horse could throw him while the saddle girths would stand. He learned to ride while droving on the plains. And one was there, a stripling and a small and weedy beast. He was something like a racehorse undersized, with a touch of time or pony, 3 parts thoroughbred at least, and such as are by mountain horsemen prized. He was hard and tough and wiry, just the sort that won't say die. There was courage in his quick, impatient step, and he bore the badge of gameness in a bright and fiery eye, with the proud and lofty carriage of his head. But yet so slight and weedy, one would doubt his power to stay, and the old man said, "That horse will never do. For a long and tiring gallop, lad, you'd better stop away. Those hills are far too rough for such as you." So he waited sad and wistful, only Clancy stood his friend. "I think we ought to let him come," he said, "and I warrant he'll be with us when he's wanted at the end, for both his horse and he are mountain bred. He hails from Snowy River up by Kosciuszko side, where the hills are twice as steep and twice as rough, where a horse's hoof strikes firelight from the flintstones every stride, and the man that holds his own is good enough. For the Snowy River riders in the mountains make their homes, and the river flows the giant hills between. I've seen full many horsemen since I first commenced to roam, but nowhere yet such horsemen have I seen." So he went, and they found the horses by the big mimosa clump, and they raced away towards the mountain's brow. And the old man gave his orders, "Boys, go at them from the jump. No use in trying for fancy riding now. And Clancy, you must wheel them. Try and wheel them to the right. Ride boldly, lad, and never fear the spills. For never yet was rider who could keep that mob in sight, if once they gained the shelter of those hills." So Clancy rode to wheel them. He was racing on the wing, where the best and boldest riders take their place. And he raced his stock horse past them, and he made the rangers ring with his stock whip as he met them face to face. Then they halted for a moment as he swung the dreaded lash, but they saw their well-loved mountain full in view. And they charged beneath the stockwhip with a sharp and sudden dash, as away into the mountain scrub they flew. Then fast the horsemen followed where the gorge is deep and black, resounding to the thunder of their tread. Their stockwhips woke the echoes, and they fiercely answered back from cliffs and crags that beetled overhead. And upwards, ever upwards, the wild horses held their way, where mountain ash and curry jung grew wide. And the old man muttered fiercely, "You may bid the mob good day. No man can hold them down the other side." When they reached the mountain summit, even Clancy took a pull. It well might make the boldest hold their breath. The wild-topped scrub grew thickly, and the hidden ground was full of wombat holes, and any slip was death. But the man from Snowy River let the pony have his head. He swung his stockwhip round and gave a cheer, and he raced him down the mountain like a torrent down its bed, while the others stood and watched in very fear. He sent the flintstones flying, but the pony kept his feet. He cleared the fallen timber in his stride, and the man from Snowy River never shifted in his seat. 'Twas grand to see that mountain horseman ride. Through stringy bark and saplings and the rough and broken ground, down the hillside at a racing pace he went, and he never drew the bridle till he landed safe and sound at the bottom of that terrible descent. He was right among the horses as they climbed the further hill, and the watchers on the mountain standing mute saw him ply his stockwhip fiercely. He was right among them still as he raced across the clearance in pursuit. Then they lost him for a moment where two mountain gullies met in the ranges, but a final glimpse revealed. On a dim and distant hillside, the wild horses racing yet, and the man from Snowy River at their heels. And he ran them single-handed till their sides were white with foam. He followed like a bloodhound on their tracks, till they halted cowed and beaten. Then he turned their heads for home, and alone and unassisted brought them back. With his hardy mountain pony, he could scarcely raise a trot. There was blood from hip to shoulder from the spur, but his pluck was still undaunted and his courage fiery hot, for never yet was mountain horse a cur. And down by Kosciuszko, where the pine-clad ridges rise, their torn and rugged battlements and high, where the air's as clear as crystal and the white stars fairly blaze at midnight in the cold and frosty sky, and where around the overflow the reed beds sweep and sway to the breezes and the rolling plains are wide, should the man from Snowy River as a household word today, and Stockman tells the story of his ride. Thank you.
All right, Donald. Come on, Donald. We'll get another recitation from you in a minute. The next man up now, ladies and gentlemen, is a man I have fierce pity for, because he went to Clonagilty one night, sure he did, and you know, all the loos were closed and things like that. But anyway, he'll tell his own story when he comes up. Connie Reardon there, the well-known man, to come up here and sing that song, you see. Come on, Con.
This is a word about these new toilets that are cropping up around towns. There isn't anyone in Macroom, but there's a few men. There's one in Clonagilty anyway. I was standing by the payphone when I looked up Connolly Street, and there beside the old fire station, a wonderful sight my eyes did meet. As I came closer to that vision, coloured black with golden gills. Then I was sad when I discovered that its driver had been killed. Then I knew it was no spaceship, and the driver was not E.T. For there a Gaelic, French and English were instructions how to pee. I remember in the old days you could have a piddle free. But now that we're the Celtic Tiger, it will cost you 20p. So if you go to Clonakilty and you want to have a wee, don't say I want to spend a penny, for it will cost you 20p. One day in town I met a tourist looking for a public loo, a Frenchman by his foreign accent, and he addressed me à la vous. I'm looking for a public toilet, you will help to show the way. I said just follow down the river, but I must warn you, you'll have to pay. It's no use having francs or euros, British pounds or 50p's, German marks or Russian rubles. There is no bureau de change, you see. You must have 5 or 10 or 20. Then he smiled and he said, wee wee. Well, I said, you can wee wee later, but first you'll fork out 20p. So if you go to Clonakilty and you want to have a wee, don't say I must spend a penny, for it will cost you 20p. One night late I left the tavern, it was coming up for 3. While passing by the old fire station, I felt an urgent need to pee. I had £3, I had 2 50s and 5 single p, but I had no combination that would allow me to have a wee. So I let go into the river, and as I watched it float away, a vanguarder comes up beside me, and this she said to my dismay. My man, I've caught you urinating in a public place, said she. Says I, my dear, I'm urinated, and could you lend me 20p? So next day down in the courtroom, the judge, he said, you broke the law. What more, you did pollute the river, to quote what the vanguard saw. I said, Your Honour, I was guilty when o'er that river wall I leaned, but it would cost at least a fiver to go and get my pants dry cleaned. It being late and no one looking, and where was I to go for change? I couldn't reach another toilet, and the river was just in range. Well, the judge said, in consideration of your very heartfelt plea, there must be grounds for mitigation, so I will fine you 20p. So if you go to Clonakilty and you want to have a wee, don't say I must spend a penny, for it will cost you 20p. We sail from Queenstown Quay with a gallant band of Fenian men born for America. While travelling with that gallant band, as you can clearly see, we were forced to go from sweet Cloro down Erin's lovely lea. For 3 long weeks we ploughed the sea from the Queenstown's Cove of Cork. Just like an arrow through the air, we landed in New York. The Yankee boys with stars and stripes came flocking round to see that gallant band of Fenian men from Erin's lovely lea. Then one of them stepped up to me and he asked me, did I know the mountains of Kilclooney are the glen of Aherlow? Or could I tell where Crowley fell, his native land to free? Or the tower that Captain Mackie sagged down Erin's lovely lea? Oh, 'tis I can tell where Crowley fell, 'twas in Kilclooney woods, and the tower that Captain Mackie sagged, it was by his side I stood. When he said the word, we gave a cheer that made the tyrants frown. We raised the shamrock on our flag, a harp without a crown. And then he asked me, did I know where Wolftown's body lay? Or could I tell the resting place of him its sacred clay? Or what of Michael O'Dwyer, that Wicklow mountain's pride? Or the 3 Manchester Martyrs, now sleeping side by side? Before I left old Ireland, I passed through sweet Kildare. The grass grows green on Boden's town, Wolftown's lying there. And as I came through Dublin town, I passed St. Wenberg's tomb. Oh, 'tis there Robert Dimmitt lies, a patriot so true. So now I'm tired of foreign land, I'm going to cross the main, to greet my friends and fellow men, until I return again. And when I go to sweet Cloro, my friends will welcome me, just like the men of rebel Cork down Erin's lovely lea.
Beautiful Con. Thanks very much indeed. Oh, Peggy Gordon. Don't know, I better shut up and leave someone up that can sing it. All of my darling gal, come out here and sing it. You can do whatever you like, my dear girl. Make yourself at home.
Oh, Peggy Gordon, you are my darling. Come sit you down upon my knee and tell to me the very reason why I am slight and so biddy. I wish I was in some lonesome valley where womankind cannot be found, where the little birds sing upon the valley, and every moment a different sound. Oh, Peggy Gordon, you are my darling. Come sit you down upon my knee and tell to me why I am slight and so body. I put my head to a cask of brandy. It was my fancy, I do declare. For when I'm drinking, I'm always thinking and wishing Peggy Gordon was here. Oh, Peggy Gordon, you are my darling. Come sit you down upon my knee and tell to me the very reason why I am slight and so body.
Brilliant, all. Thanks very much indeed. Leo Healy next for a song.
I sing one song about a woman looking for a man and her exploits. I'm a fine red-haired woman called Bridget McCann, and for years I've been wanting to marry a man. I don't care if he's fat, if he's tall or he's slight. I just want to keep warm in the cold winter's night. I'm sick in the heart, I'm sad and forlorn. I'm afraid I will never find a man of my own. Feed the hens, feed the pig, put the cow in the shed. And sure all that I want is a man in my bed. I've chased him at holies, at dances and fairs. I travelled through Limerick, through Kerry and Clare. I swear I will burst or go queer in the head if I don't find some old lad to warm up my bed. A fine black-haired tinker came passing one day, a fine strapping lad with a swaggering way. I put 2 pound of powder all over my dial. I bade him sit down to rest for a while. You're a no, ma'am, says he, sure I must trip along. You're a nonsense, says I, sure the night is still young. I've a fine feather bed way up in the room, and the older the fiddle, the sweeter the tune. I could see he was game when I slipped by the fire. His eyes, they were crazy with love and desire. When I got to my bloomers, he let out a roar. He jumped out the window, saw him no more. So all the young women who are cozy at night, keep your hand on your man, keep him happy and fed. Keep him happy and satisfied, warm and fed. Sure, I'd swap my red bloomers for a man in my bed. Vad sang vi sing? Vad sang vi sing då? As we gathered in the chapel here, in old Kilmainham jail. I think about these past few weeks. Oh, will they say we failed from our school days? They have told us we must yearn for liberty. Yet all I want in this darn place is to have you here with me. Oh, Grace, just hold me in your arms and let this moment linger. And take me out at dawn, and I will die. With all my love, I'll place this wedding ring upon your finger. There won't be time to share our love, for we must say goodbye. Now I know it's hard for you, my love, to ever understand the love I bear for these great men, my love for this dear land. But when Padre called me to his side down in the GPO, I had to leave my own sick bed. To him I had to go. Oh, Grace, just hold me in your arms and let this moment linger. And take me out at dawn, and I will die. With all my love, I'll place this wedding ring upon your finger. There won't be time to share our love, for we must say goodbye. And as the dawn is breaking, my heart is breaking too. On this May morn, as I walked out, my thoughts will be of you. And I write some words upon the wall, so everyone will know. I love so much that I could see his blood upon the rose. Oh, Grace, just hold me in your arms and let this moment linger. And take me out at dawn, and I will die. With all my love, I'll place this wedding ring upon your finger. There won't be time to share our love, for we must say goodbye. No, there won't be time to share our love, for we must say goodbye.
Good man, Leo. That was my brother, Leo. I now bring up, because we should be getting to tea very soon, and I don't want to move too fastly. I bring up my sister, Evelyn, now to sing a song for us. Eva, you ready? Good girl you are. Sit down there for yourself. Do you want to sit down? I know, but you look, the standard is high, but you would expect that here.
This is called the spinning wheel, lads. So tune in. Oh yeah. Mellow, the moonlight to shine is beginning. Close by the window, young Eileen is spinning. Bent o'er the fire, her blind grandmother's knitting is groaning. groaning and moaning and drowsily knitting. Merrily, cheerily, noiselessly whirring, swings the wheel, spins the wheel, while the foot's stirring. Slightly and brightly and merrily ringing, sounds the sweet voice of the young maiden singing. Eileen the Cara, I hear someone tapping. 'Tis the ivy, dear mother, against the glass flapping. Eileen, I surely hear somebody sighing. 'Tis the sound, mother dear, of the autumn winds dying. Merrily, cheerily, noiselessly whirring, swings the wheel, spins the wheel, while the foot's stirring. Lightly and brightly and merrily ringing, sounds the sweet voice of the young maiden singing. There's a form at the casement, the form of her true love, and he whispers, sweet face bent, I'm waiting for you, love. Get up from the stool, through the lattice, step lightly, and we rove in the grove, where the moon's shining brightly. Oh, merrily, cheerily, noiselessly whirring, spins the wheel, swings the wheel, while the foot's stirring. Brightly and lightly and merrily ringing, sounds the sweet voice of the young maiden singing. Slower and slower and slower the wheel sings, lower and lower and lower the reel rings, ere the wheel and the wheels stop ringing and moving. Through the grove the young lovers by moonlight are roving.
Well, now, that's proof of the pudding. Anyone that goes into the Mercy will come out singing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a break now because the grub is coming, and we'll take a break, and we'll be back with the musicians straight after the break.